Well, welcome back to Q&A, the home of political debate. Water, everyone seems to agree, is going to make us rich somehow. Norway aside, we've got more water than any other country, and we have a clean, green image to maintain abroad. But some people are worried that our poor water management, or what's perceived to be poor water management, is putting that at risk. Joining us now, Don Nicholson, who is President of Federated Farmers, and Russell Norman, co-leader of the Greens. Good morning, and thank you very much for coming, and welcome to Q&A.
Good morning.
So why are we suddenly talking water? We've got the dairy farm, the effects of dairy farming, of course. We've got lack of supply up north. We've got economic potential. Why are we talking water all of a sudden?
Well, I think we've been slow out of the blocks. We've been talking water for years in the farming sector. We're waiting for the wider community to actually make itself more resilient as we're trying to make ourselves more resilient. So, you know, in Northland, 2 metres of rain falls every year, and they haven't stored it, and they're now in a crisis situation. Rivers low. I mean, let's make our communities more resilient as well as agriculture. It's not just a one.
So let's get more savvy about.
Russell's got his facts all about farming. Why doesn't he focus on some urban stuff for a change? I mean, urban waterways are very degraded in this country, but he picks on agriculture all the time.
Well, I wonder why that might be. It might be something to do with a report that came out last week that dairy farmers are making the streams filthy. 15% of farmers failed to comply with regional council environmental rules. Why do 15%?
It's actually 40%. 15% is the serious non-compliance, right. 40% non-compliance.
Sure, that's true. And some of them were the non-compliance was little certificates on the dairy shed wall. I mean, Fonterra's cowering into a corner because it's been beaten by these sort of people to want to jump all the hurdles.
No, it's doing another big initiative into China and doesn't want another mess.
Look, they don't need another mess, another problem in their brand. I accept that. But the problem is rural schemes, water schemes and sewage schemes have never been updated for years. A lot of the water quality issues Russell's talking about, I've got your name right, are basically around sewage schemes that are not being upgraded over time. It isn't
You're
just
talking about
an
urban
agriculture.
Now.
Yes.
Yeah, and
yes.
Don's right.
It seems like there is a cavalier attitude, though, amongst the dairy.
I don't think so. I actually don't think so, Paul. It's been overstated by people like Russell. Look, we took Russell to the Apua Dam in South Canterbury, a great success story, run by farmers, owned by farmers, has recreation, electricity generation, water sports, fishing, hunting, and guaranteed minimum flows in the Opahi River. Plus it adds about 470 jobs in that region, and Russell can't even come out and say a good thing about it. What is wrong, Russell?
I've said a number of good things about it. However, what we have to go back to is the science, and the science is absolutely clear that we have degrading water quality right across New Zealand, and they're also very clear that it is
not clear.
That it is the intensification of agriculture that's driving it, and every scientific report says that.
No, that's not clear to the layman reading this stuff, but you get the sensational headline, Russell, and that's what people believe.
In the matter of the non-compliance, which may have been a failure to put a sticker on a cowshed or something, but nevertheless, 85% are complying. Sure. We have to take from that number, so 15% perhaps badly not complying, and 40% totally not complying to some degree or another. You're saying, at the moment the business is voluntary. You want to see regulation now, yeah?
Yeah, that's right. So what I'd say is that, exactly right. So we've got this voluntary accord. I'd say what we actually need is good environmental minimums, good regulation, and that way the good farmers don't get penalised by the bad farmers. Because currently if you're a good dairy farmer doing all the right things, and lots of them are, then your reputation's being besmirched by the bad ones. Whereas if you have environmental minimums which we can actually impose because they're regulations, then it means it protects the rivers and lakes for everyone and protects the good farmers'
Would you have
reputation.
a problem?
Look, I have no problem with setting standards. Actually, maximum standards would be good because these guys just want them higher and higher all the time. So let's get a maximum standard.
Well, we like clean water, Don.
Yeah, we like clean water, and so do our animals. But here's the rub, Paul. Last year, $23.2 billion worth of farm gate revenue over all sectors, including pork and poultry. Out of the 23.2, only 6.2 cents in every dollar stayed with the farmer. Yet, we get 100% of the environmental grief from people like Russell. You actually get a bit sick of it. 6.2 cents in every dollar stays with the farmer.
It is a matter of balance, isn't it? I think Canterbury's got 70% of the country's water, and 240,000 extra cows have gone into Canterbury in the last 6 years. Are we going to get to the point where we can't do any more farm?
We've got to do water storage. The thing is, New Zealand's not running out of water. The water's running out of New Zealand, and we've just got to do this water storage to make us more resilient. The threat of climate variation that Russell's so hot about, if you want to make yourself more resilient, let's store some water. Let's make sure the water quality is good, because water's got to have properties. Yeah, I don't want sterile water. That's not good for us either.
No, you'd have to build major dams, though, wouldn't you?
No, there's lots of community schemes available. Yeah, there's a lot of investment required, but it's not as much as you'd think. Just making Canterbury resilient doesn't make New Zealand resilient. When the river flows are high, you can divert water flows into holding dams, no problem at all.
Just a couple of quickies. Should we start charging farmers for water? The car maker pays to buy the steel for his cars, the baker pays for his flour to bake the bread.
Look, if we do that, then the person washing their car in Remuera better pay, the fish better start having a value around them, the kayaker better have a value, and then we'll all be happy, and then we'll get some really true values around the resource efficiency, because that's what we're going to be talking about, I think. Hey, look, no water, no life, Russell. Come on.
Yeah, so I'm agreeing, Don, I'm agreeing.
I thank you, John, very much for coming on. I'm just kidding. Thank you, Don Nicholson. Thank you, Russell Norman. As always, still to come, what'd you call me, John? Still to come on the programme, your feedback on Q&A, what to look for next week in the news, but after the break, more from the panel, and of course, we'd like to hear from you. Text your thoughts to, and first name, 8850. Each text will cost you 50 centimes, or email us at q&a@tvnz.co.nz.